The Seventh Man by Sir Arthur Quiller-Couch. In a one-roomed hut, high within the Arctic Circle, and only a little south of the 80th parallel, 6 men were sitting, much as they had sat evening after evening for months. They had a clock, and by it they divided the hours into day and night. As a matter of fact, it was always night. But the clock said 8:30, and they called the time evening. The hut was built of logs, with an inner skin of rough matchboarding daubed with pitch. It measured 17 feet by 14, but opposite the door, 4 bunks, 2 above and 2 below, took a yard off the length, and this made the interior exactly square. Each of these bunks had 2 doors, with brass latches on the inner side, so that the owner, if he chose, could shut himself up and go to sleep in a sort of cupboard. But as a rule he closed one of them only, that by his feet. The other swung back with its brass latch showing. The men kept these latches in a high state of polish. Along the angle of the wall to the left of the door, and behind it when it opened, 3 hammocks were slung, one above another. No one slept in the uppermost. But the feature of the hut was its fireplace, and this was merely a square hearthstone, raised slightly above the floor in the middle of the room. Upon it, and upon a growing mountain of soft grey ash, the fire burned always. It had no chimney, and so the men lost none of its warmth. The smoke ascended steadily, and spread itself under the blackened beams and roof boards in dense blue layers. But about 18 inches beneath the spring of the roof, there ran a line of small trapdoors with sliding panels to admit the cold air, and below these the room was almost clear of smoke. A newcomer's eyes might have smarted, but these men stitched their clothes and read in comfort. To keep the updraft steady, they had plugged every chink and crevice in the matchboarding below the trapdoors with moss, and paid the seams with pitch. The fire they fed from a stack of drift and wreck wood piled to the right of the door, and fuel for the fetching strewed the frozen beach outside. Whole trees, notched into lengths by lumberers' axes, and washed thither from they knew not what continent. But the wreck wood came from their own ship, the J.R. McNeil, which had brought them from Dundee. They were Alexander Williamson of Dundee, better known as the Gaffer, David Fade, also of Dundee, George Lashman of Cardiff, Long Eade of Hale in Cornwall, Charles Silchester, otherwise the Snipe, of Ratcliffe Highway or thereabouts, and Daniel Cooney.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?